when I started tonight, my name was Knox, and I'm from the Vibrators.
And I'm Eddie from the Vibrators as well.
And I'm John from the Vibrators.
As well. Yeah.
As well.
Alright, so going back to what you were saying there, can you tell me a little bit about the music scene in London at the time the band formed?
Well, it was very
Crap.
yeah, it was pretty awful. It was just mainly like pub bands playing, and I mean, actually, as pub bands, a lot of those bands are very, really excellent bands, like Ducks Deluxe and all that. But I think, times were changing, and then we were playing mainly R&B covers and stuff, but really fast, because we had no manager. I mean, we didn't like rehearsing, so essentially we were just, you learn a few new songs, just a bunch of friends. And you often use a load of old covers because that's what everybody knows. You don't really have to rehearse those. And gradually they got pushed out, and then just doing mostly all original material.
All the bands in London at that time were blank. Fuck me, this is what rock and roll was about. It's supposed to be fast and exciting and got vitality and life in it. And you just want to give the fucking thing a kick up the arse and make it a bit more exciting, like when you see those old films of Eddie Cochran and Chuck Berry and The Who and people like that. It was exciting, the early Rolling Stones, it was exciting, it was fast, it was, and all those bands like Ducks Deluxe and, Chilly Willy and all these people were just clogging up this pub scene, playing this really dreary music, trying to be
It wasn't them, it was like the other bands and all that. I mean, I think it wasn't their fault. I just think people, the time was right for something musical. People get
needed changing.
It just happened when we were there. We weren't. I mean, I don't think we were particularly any clever than anybody else. We just happened to be there.
There's a bunch of bands all there at the same time, weren't they? Like us, the band, the Pistols.
Yeah, we were playing
Clash,
stuff. But
all these bands.
Suddenly, the press are talking about punk, and you're in this umbrella, underneath the umbrella term, punk. And I mean, you even had bands like Rudelator, loosely, they were on then, and they were like sort of early kind of funk.
I used to do James Brown songs.
Yeah, they were but they were nice guys. I don't mean anything nasty about it, but they were under this thing punk, and it does seem now it's quite ridiculous, really. And then from there, it just went on the press and everything, just sort of gathered momentum. And obviously, people wanted to hear that kind of music and all that. So
I think we've answered that one, haven't we?
Yeah, we answered that. So
Go on for as long as you want.
You get a 500-page thesis on it.
Alright, so briefly, as I said earlier, we filmed at the Blackpool gig.
Yeah.
And I'd like, basically, if you could give me your theory on what was going on there and how you went down.
I thought we went down very well, considering, it's 2:30 in the afternoon when we went on stage, and we'd been playing, previous night we'd been in Edinburgh, and we had to stay in Glasgow, and always when you've got to get up early, you have a late night, so we hadn't gone to bed till about 3 or 4 or something. You have to get up early.
And then you're on stage.
And you get to the venue, and you just got, it's just all rush, load of gear in, get changed, write the set list, run on stage,
It was great though, it was good.
But we played really well. My amp I thought it sounded absolutely terrible. I couldn't understand it. Really, yeah, it sounds great on the video. From now on, I'm never going to complain about all that sort of thing. And I thought on the video, we looked much better than how I felt we were playing. It just shows you.
Yeah.
But I think it's because we've been playing for so long. You have a kind of professional level, and you're always quite good.
Well, the whole day was just like a celebration. Punk is basically an underground thing now. I mean, over the last 15 years, there's only been a few bands keeping the actual spirit alive. And then suddenly everyone said, 20 bloody years, we used to like that, and they all came out. Everybody came out, all these bands came out.
Yeah, so I think that punk...
And it was a great day, it was a good fun day, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's all those old bands, because it was very interesting, and I think all the bands played quite well and everything. People there's an opportunity to see them. It's probably the biggest punk thing ever in the history of the world. Yeah. I mean, not that that particularly means anything, but I actually think that the press is very negative about punk, and I think that punk is actually very good live music. And if the press were actually a bit more positive about it, more people would go to it and enjoy it and stuff. So I don't think that what we do is that far away from bands like Oasis and all that sort of stuff, and they get millions of people down. You know what I mean? And the press have this kind of thing. this sort of moronic skin, you know, like Mohican punk, you know, that's
Good for them. We like them. We like them.
Old bands knocking out this old stuff. But I mean, how many of those hippie bands that were around in, you know, 67 are still playing in like 87? You know, I mean, only a handful of the successful ones, probably. The rest of them are playing.
It just goes to
Actually,
show
they might
that
be playing.
means
Something about it.
something.
They were all playing up in some holiday camp in Great Yarmouth.
Yeah, but it means something to punk. You know, punk means something. I mean, trouble with the Oasis, they're a bit like a sort of a Ruttles pastiche, you know.
I mean, no. Oasis, alright, they're a good band, Eddie.
They got nicked by the Ruttles for nicking their songs, didn't they? They had to pay them royalties. That's true.
Alright. So you mentioned half of that there, but now you mentioned half of the next question. So the media will accept US punk now, yet you go
well,
UK
I think
punk.
that is the fault of it in Britain. There aren't any new big, you know, if some big management companies sorted out some bands, you know, just got them really going. There was that band that were they were in the hit parade, you know, like about a year, 2 years ago. They were quite a good band, but they seemed to disappear. What was that band, Toxin? They played at the garage that they were in the charts. Do you remember that garage gig?
You're supposed to know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like that.
New wave. But Smash.
Yeah, see, they remember that thing like.
I thought they were a bunch of contrived.
No, it doesn't matter. But I think, you know, like there should be a British band on that. But on the other hand, you see that punk basically never really took off in America, but now they've got like a recession on over there. Kind of, you know, they can now understand it, and they're just getting into it.
Do you think that's a big part in the bands like Rancid and Green Day becoming popular?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's like the climate changes, and maybe, although America in some ways is like many years ahead of us, you know, but most people in Britain don't realise that. In some ways, like musically, I think they're
it took years for Billy Idol even to get where he is, didn't it?
Yeah, he's the only person that made any English.
But he made like essentially good pop records.
But he's the only punk that ever made any bloody money out of it. Good luck to him, bollocks. I don't give a monkey's more the merrier.
So to use as a band, what is the best thing that came out of punk?
The money. No, not that. No, the excitement, I think, and just the fact that it's quite good music, and also that it's had a lasting kind of thing. I like
maybe the fact that it didn't
get
exploited to fuck by the press and the media and the record companies and everything, and it stayed.
And actually, in a strange way, I think that somebody somewhere is going to be clever enough to invent a kind of new version, and maybe it's sort of keyboard punk or something, you know what I mean? But then something else could come up out of it, and it would keep
keyboard punk.
Honestly.
Saxophone punk.
No.
Or wobble board punk.
No.
It's Roll Ferris, isn't it?
I'll have to do it. That's really neat, you know. It's like sort of electronic rockabilly or something, you know, like something like that will come up. No, you know, using keyboards or something like that. Alan Vega.
It's all been done now. Anything that's left is to make it good fun.
Yes.
Alright,
what can follow Zig Zig Sputnik?
Well, Shampoo or bands like that. You know, I think that the trouble in Britain is that most of the bands playing, they really only get into that 1977 thing. You know, they don't really have any kind of forward-looking vision. Really. You know, they're just writing the same stuff, and without anybody producing putting a new kind of input into it, I think it will just go on, and the press will continue to slag it off, really. And that's why American bands, because they got this kind of political whatever it is in America, it's all, you know, they can come out and they've got kind of cutting edge feel to what they're doing, even though it's the same thing. And the major companies will invest money in them. Here, you know, they're not really going to do that for some reason, you know. But maybe, you know, some management company, if they found a good band and really pushed it, because like, I mean, I know the Pistols are exceptional, but like, there's probably there may be another band out there or several bands you can put together. You can make a really good band. But I mean, maybe not. Why not?
Exactly. Not. What do you know? Sweet fuckle. We know nothing.
I mean, actually, I really like punk. You see, but on the other hand, I do loads of other things which have nothing to do with punk whatsoever. So you know, I'm kind of like, well, it doesn't matter to me if punk totally disappears.
What is punk though?
I think it's an attitude, really.
That's the final question.
Hold on. Attitude counts. Preempting.
It's attitude and energy, and that's all you can put it down to.
So,
attitude and energy laws.
This is our agent talking, by the way.
You want us to call
Can't
our
see
cameras
him.
away? We're doing a quick interview. Be there in that 1 minute.
No worries. Just give us a shout when you're ready to do it.
Alright, yeah, a couple of minutes.
Right, any other questions?
Anything else?
Yeah,
You want the numbers for the next week's winning lottery ticket?
Yeah.
if you've got them, yeah, that would be handy, but
I'm just going to get another beer.
Wow, that's where we're at. Yeah, that's where we're at.
It's alright.
alright. See, you mentioned it briefly, but the new UK punk bands don't seem to get any press whatsoever. Have you got any
don't either.
but have you got any explanation why they'll have a new?
Maybe they.
Press is full of old farts.
Maybe they're not doing anything sufficiently new, and they're just like redoing all the old kind of things. You know? I mean,
You better ask the press that question, mate.
there's something about punk that kind of makes you feel that it can actually produce a new thing which is still related to it. But I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like, you know, when you like Jimi Hendrix, he suddenly played all this stuff on the guitar. I mean, you can understand why nobody had done that, say, 15 years before or something. Just little things.
Blame Jim Marshall.
Alright, so I'll give you one final question. What does punk mean to you?
It's just a really exciting, enables us. It enables us to play our kind of music, that we like playing, and all the people are all the concerts you do, they're all really nice people there.
Yeah,
but not all of it, you know what I mean? It's a nice,
It's true. It's
nice
a great
thing there.
vibe. The whole thing about Blackpool was
yeah.
it was just a great vibe. It was just like one big happy family. I mean, the stuff they wrote in NME about people laying around pissed and drunk and glued out of their faces. It was a load of old pony. Really.
Where were those people lying around drunk?
I mean,
that was you, Eddie.
10,000 people. They expect the odd few. What it was just 10,000 people having just bloody good fun and all friendly. No aggro, no violence, just good fun.